through our experiences of helping young adults um, take that next step in their lives, we looked at areas that could be a challenge. And what are some of the, and we wanted to think about like, what are some of those advice that we could give to young adults, to family members, to maybe even somebody who is supporting a young adult with taking that next step? What are some of the things that we can provide or do or help with? Now, I will say that these are all things that we are just recommending. There's not a one fix all approach to this. So some of the things that we are going to share may or may not work for you. But the one thing I will say is patience is key. So please be patient through the process. And then the other thing is just be open-minded. Maybe it might work, maybe it won't, but you never know until you try it. So we do recommend that, really think about and process it and see if it's something that you are even willing to try to take that next step. But again, like I said, we just wanted to approach this in kind of a way of what we've experienced and some of the things that we've helped when it was that challenging moment of taking that next step. But please just know that some of these things are very good, helpful tools and strategies to take that next step. So, our first one that we came up with, we kind of broke this down into 5 categories. And the first one is social interaction. And our first question with this one is what, and I'm going to ask the panelist, and I'm going to let the panelists kind of go on this after I ask it. So, why do you feel it is important for young adults to practice social interactions as they transition from teen to young adult?
I'll jump right in. So, it's very hard a lot of times to think about social interactions from teen to young adult because a lot of teens are in high school, right? So you have that built-in kind of community already with friends at high school. You see them every day. But I also want to say, like, this is a time to kind of explore, right? So if we don't go out and we don't really explore some social interactions or explore different hobbies or anything like that, we might not really know what we like. So I guess for my best advice for this one is why it's so important for young adults to practice social interactions is really because it's so easy also to get lost in the time, right? So you can find yourself being maybe a little self-isolated or things like that after high school ends. I know I've seen that a lot where it's just easier to stay in a room than it is to go out and explore and meet other people. And a lot of times it just takes that little bit of courage to kind of go out and try. But again, like I said, this is a time for young adults to really kind of find out what we do like, right? I know when I was a teen going into college and things like that, there's a lot of different things that I didn't know I would like until you kind of go and you give it a try. And you can meet some other people and meet some new friends, and it just kind of is a broad spectrum to kind of punch yourself out there.
I was just going to add the more that you practice, the more comfortable you will feel with it. And that goes, pretty much with anything, but the more you practice, the more routine it'll feel, the more comfortable you'll feel with it.
I was going to say a part of adult friendships is making plans. Like you have to know your schedule. So it involves time management and all of those fun independent living skills while also being social interaction.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think when you do social interactions, we want to practice those in conversations and interactions that we enjoy because sometimes those social interactions that we have to do in life are not so fun. And so it makes it a little bit easier when you are used to having fun interactions with others. So when it comes to those harder ones, you have a little bit experience to go on when you have those little bit more of a tougher interactions to do with people. Which set of skills are useful for our social interactions?
JR had mentioned that sometimes social interactions aren't always fun, but no matter the case, interactions and building that skill set is so important because social interactions happen with our friends, our family, our neighbors, people at the grocery store or the library, pretty much anywhere you go. I kind of narrowed down to 5 important skills to kind of help you with social interactions. The first one, communication. Having good, solid, clear communication, which would include verbal communication, so the use of your words, nonverbal communication, that body language, active listening skills to really listen with intent and understanding. Communication skills are just really important and helps to build rapport with others. And it also helps you assist with problem solving. Another skill set is boundaries. So being able to identify your needs and your limits, setting boundaries with other people, as well as understanding and respecting other boundaries. Flexibility is another big one. So respecting other people's schedules and life. A lot of people are on different schedules, different work schedules, school schedules, activities. Being open to change is a big part of flexibility, and maybe even doing activities that you may not like or don't interest you so much, but your friends or your family are interested in them. And then also maintaining a connection, even under busy circumstances. Life gets busy, but if you want to maintain those friendships and those connections with other people, it's really important to find the time to keep maintaining those connections. Another skill set is empathy, being able to understand and acknowledge other people's feelings, whether they're feeling sad, happy, mad, and avoiding judgment. And then the last one, conflict resolution. So having an understanding of how to work out problems or issues that arise in an appropriate and healthy manner. So for example, if you and your friend want to go to the movies together, but you want to see different films, you have to figure out what are you going to do, because if you want to go together, then you have to kind of come up with some kind of plan or mutual agreement. Another example is if you disagree with a friend's view of a political matter, you may have to use those conflict resolution skills to figure out how you're going to resolve that issue as well.
What are some of the ways someone could practice using these social skills? And I want you guys to kind of approach this when you answer this, just to kind of keep in mind of if somebody is looking for social events that may not just focus in on certain areas, like if they are a gamer and they want to kind of move on past that gaming situation. So just to kind of hint at one of the questions.
When it comes to practicing social skills, a big one would be that practice of small talk. With our coworkers, our neighbors, people at a party or an event that we go to, initiating those conversations. And they can be on topics like the weather, a local sports team, or even questions related to that event or that activity that you're in. So simply asking someone how they're liking the warm weather, if it's been sunny and warm the past couple of days, just to get that conversation initiated with the other person. Asking a coworker or neighbor how their day is going. Again, initiating that conversation, starting that conversation with someone, or asking someone how did they find out about the event that you're at, because you have that connection. You're both at that event together. So making that small talk, just simply asking them how they found out about the event or how they know the host of the party. And then the second thing I would say is to really go out of your comfort zone, join group activities, social events, even if you're not terribly familiar with them or don't know the people there, just getting out there, meeting new people. And I think we're even going to talk about some different places and some different events that you can try out.
I also think, like, and I think you mentioned this, but everywhere and anywhere you can practice social skills.
Yeah.
So like even this one is one of the ones where it's like I always talk about the how's your day? Fine. Like, nope, that's an opportunity to socially interact. So really explain how your day's going and maybe do a follow-up question to see how other ones encourage them to ask how your day is going, right? So there can be a conversation or even start. This is for parents. Instead of just going right in and asking their day, be like, oh, my day was, and kind of give them an example of what the answer you're looking for is. So kind of explain your day. You're going to get some eye rolling and you're going to get some people like, oh, but leading by the example of how this is how the conversation should go is always helpful. What advice would you give a young adult to form and or maintain friendships?
Really embracing the vulnerability of, you know, you're meeting new people. It's going to feel a little awkward. Um, still meeting new people and I still feel awkward, but it doesn't mean that it won't be good, right? So just embrace that it is just going to be a little scary, but you can do hard things. And also I would recommend going to like something that you can find people with mutual interests, right? Whether that's signing up for, a kickball league or, going to a pottery class or a meetup group or coming to a Bounce Forward event. Those are just great opportunities to make friends because you already have something to talk about, which is the activity that you're doing. So it can make starting a conversation feel less scary because you already have something in common to talk about.
Don't be afraid to be yourself and to put yourself out there. With your friends, with your family, not everybody's going to have the same interests. So you don't have to pretend to like everything somebody else does. Be yourself.
No, I
Absolutely.
was just gonna kind of say that same thing about being yourself, but also when it comes to maintaining friendships, I feel like that's such a difficult thing after high school. Because again, if you don't see them every day, so again, like finding ways to reach out to them, right? Finding ways that if they were your friends in high school and maybe if you did do some activities, like try to keep those activities going even after, unless if you move somewhere different, like, we have more options in virtual technology than ever before, whether it is, you can still, talk to a friend over Zoom for an hour. I think Zoom's free for up to an hour still. You have different services that you can reach out, FaceTime and things like that, even if in different locations. So like that maintaining friendship piece is still kind of that point yourself out there to talk to old friends. I know I've talked to many young adults who are like, oh, well, I haven't reached out to them. They haven't reached out to me anymore. So now it's just awkward and I don't want to do it. So again, it's that 20 seconds of vulnerability where it's like send them a text message and see what they're doing if they were an old friend. See if you can get the ball rolling.
Don't wait around for someone to do something that you want to do. Like, so if you want them to contact you, then you have to be the one to do it because people are not mind readers. And unfortunately, they don't know what we're thinking and how much we want to talk to them. So just being like, knowing that, like, hey, I need to take some ownership, or being like, I want to talk to them, so I'm going to reach out, can be like a good mindset to get in.
The one thing I add on this one is 20 seconds of bravery. Take that 20 seconds and that if you want to meet somebody or you want to talk to somebody, take that 20 seconds of bravery to start that forming that friendship. It doesn't happen. But in the maintaining part, this is where boundaries comes in. Um, and this is where friendships are challenging because you do have to be able to respect other people's boundaries as well. So I always say, think of it in 20 seconds, 20-second intervals, right? Like, hey, I have 20 seconds to go greet this person and say I want to be like I want to know them or I want to introduce myself to them. Same thing with like calling them or messaging them. Yes, reach out to them. But if they are not responding back to you, have that conversation and understand that, you know what, you want to have a friendship that does also have that 20 seconds of bravery for you, right?
Mutual.
And it's
Yeah.
mutual. And so you just want to make sure that the boundaries match when it comes to that friendship. And make sure that we're having those conversations. Almost, I always like to set a rule. You know, I have my 20 seconds of bravery rule, and then I have like my two and done rule. Like, so I get a message 2 times or call 2 times, and if I don't get a response back within those 2 times, then I have to wait for a response. Um, so just kind of set rules for yourself that you feel comfortable with. So this is the last one. We kind of talked about this a little bit throughout our responses. But where can a young adult go to meet others to socialize with?
Well, to start, Bounce Board is great. I have to, self-promote. There are so many different ways you can meet others, right? Whether I've, made friends at meetup events. There's a lot of different like if someone is into board games or like Magic the Gathering, different shops host events, throughout the week. So there's, stuff. St. Louis is really great because there's always something going on. There are definitely a lot of options that they have that they can meet others. There's also the leisure department has a lot of different leisure activities. Whether if they're interested in sports, you can join sports leagues or bowling. But they also have fun things like they have cooking classes, music classes. I would definitely, check into the leisure department because they have a lot to offer too.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of places that you can go and meet people. I always say find something that you're interested in, and go to those. If it's a fun class that you can do, um, or looking at different leisure programs that are out there, or even I always say, like, yeah, our programs are focused in on taking that next step, but there's a lot of opportunities to socialize and connect while you are learning those skills. So even if you already know those skills, or you just need to enhance those skills, there's still opportunities to practice socializing and meeting others within our programs. The team does a great job of also Sarah kind of leads the drive in this one, where even when you are in our program, there's actually bonus opportunities to socialize and those kind of things. So she hosts different events to be able to practice those social skills. So take those opportunities to get out there, even if it's something that you feel like you already know how to do. If you already know how to do it, then you can kind of focus more on making those connections because you're comfortable with the topic that's already being talked about.